How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my very own transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 3. So no, we still have the fixture tonight. The Arsenal game is coming up in a few hours time as you guys are watching this. So I'm going to start off the video with giving you guys a rundown on how Game Week 2 is currently going, and is it a green or a red arrow for our team. I'm going to then move on to the portion of the video that you're all waiting for. It's going to be the transfer plan, 2 free transfers, 1.0 million left in the bank. So let's see how we can alter this team. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So first things first, let's go over how the squad is currently getting on in Game Week 2. As mentioned, Arsenal are taking on Crystal Palace tonight in a few hours time, and I actually have 3 players in that fixture. So Saliba, Saka, and Martinelli haven't played for my team, and having 3 players left for the last game of Game Week 2, I'm just hoping for an increase in rank. As you guys can see, cast your eyes to top right hand side, 42 points total for the current Game Week 2 score, and that sets up with a Game Week rank of about 2 million. It's not the best Game Week in the world. I think the drop off from Game Week 1 to Game Week 2 has been quite significant, obviously dependent on how the Arsenal assets do tonight. But if you guys do own Matoma and Mbumo, as I said on Twitter, comment them down below because I want to know who to block, because that's simply outrageous. Unfortunately, that has seen a little bit of a red arrow to 477k, but I'm hoping that increases tonight. But the big thing about this video and the main purpose is 2 free transfers and 1.0 million left in the bank, so we can change the team up quite a bit. Now before we get into the actual team review, I want to give a shout out to all you new Legend members and members in general. Just want to reiterate the fact that I won't be posting my transfers on my Twitter page anymore, and you guys have to become a Legend member to actually get access to those. But don't worry, as with this video, as with the team selection and the deadline streams, I'll never hide content from you guys. It just depends on when I actually make the move. But you guys can also ask me questions over my Discord server if you don't want to ask them in the comments down below. So let's get on to the actual team review without the 3 players that you guys see on screen right now. Fingers crossed they bang tonight. So let's start off on our bench, and unfortunately nothing much to say on the bench at the moment. We actually benched our first choice goalkeeper Johnston as he had that Arsenal home fixture, and because I own 2 attackers, that didn't make much sense for me. Then the 2 4.0 defenders on our bench, Baldock got 0 points because he's currently carrying a knock, so he actually wasn't even in the squad for Sheffield United. Then we have Bayer, who had a blank fixture against Luton. Burnley vs Luton was postponed because of the stadium renewal, so he obviously didn't have a fixture. Then we have Archer, and you might be thinking to yourself, 0 points, probably didn't come off the bench, but he actually did, played 5 minutes but racked up a yellow card as well. So the bench was pretty extraordinary for this Game Week 2, but luckily my full starting 11 will hopefully feature. As mentioned, Johnson was going to be on the bench. We opted for Turner from Nottingham Forest. He only got us 2 points though, as Sheffield United scored an absolute banger. So no save points at the end of the day. I think he ended on 2 saves, so only the 2 appearance points. Then let's go over our backline, or complete our backline. Gonna start off with Ben Chilwell. Now that Chelsea game was pretty unique. I wasn't expecting them to lose that game 3-1, but that wasn't even the weirdest thing. Ben was actually subbed in about the 70th minute. It's a little bit of a weird move there, as I always think that Ben Chilwell is one of the best options for Chelsea on the pitch, but I guess Poch didn't feel the same. So this was quite a bad result, because I think a lot of people did bring in the Chelsea fullback after Reece James' injury, but his ownership is still pretty low. A player with a higher ownership is a Stupinan from Brighton, a massive 11-pointer after racking up a goal and also getting a few bonus points, I think. Now unfortunately Brighton still lost the clean sheet, but it seems like a Stupinan is just getting so many attacking returns, as he also got an assist. So we don't own a Stupinan for the clean sheets, and that makes me even happier because the Brighton fixtures do get a lot harder over the next couple of game weeks, but he might even be a hold and a play for those. So let's hope that Saliba does well to complete our backline. I'm hoping for somewhere in the middle of our 2 defenders. Now I'm going to talk about the good before the bad. In terms of our midfield department, I'm going to start off with Mbumo with a massive 16-pointer after 2 goals for Brentford. Now his penalty run continued after getting the second penalty in 2 games, converting it quite calmly, but also getting another goal in the dying seconds of the fixture. So if you guys don't own Mbumo, don't beat yourself up too much, but I mean, he's been in every one of my drafts throughout the preseason, and I was quite vocal of him being my favorite 6.5. But I guess if you guys did go for Matoma, it's not the end of the world. He's still got a bunch of points, and at least both of them outscored Maddison this week. Now if you guys do want to get Mbumo in, or you don't have him in your squad, I would probably recommend it. He's going to play the majority of minutes, is on penalties, and Brentford looking pretty strong from an attacking point of view. So let's hope this does continue, as there's still some nice fixtures coming up. Now I mentioned the good of the midfield, now let's go over the bad of the midfield. It's in Manchester United, as both my options ended up blanking. Now to make matters worse, Bruno got a yellow card for arguing, but apparently it wasn't even that bad of an argument, but it is only 1 point. Now don't you know what's happening with United, because the XG's there, the XA's there. Rashford and Bruno are getting chances up front, but they're simply not converting them. and that's quite disappointing. So now we're left in this kind of situation where the XG and the stats are looking strong, but the points aren't there, and you take someone like a Matoma, lower kind of XG, but getting you FPL points, do you make the switch? Well, I'll be talking about this a little bit later on, but I am losing a little bit of patience with these United assets, but I might give them one more game week. At least this week I didn't watch the United game because then I would probably be quite disappointed, as I did watch the Wolves one in game week 1. Then going on to our forward department, and we're going to start off with captain Erling Haaland blanking 2 points double to 4 against quite a strong Newcastle team. Now I said this over on Twitter over the weekend, but if you guys didn't go for Erling Haaland as your captain, you went for Mo Salah and Mbeumo or Watkins, it's a congratulations because you went against the template and you won. I wasn't really confident going for one of my other kind of forward options. I mean, imagine if I went for an Mbeumo, a massive haul would have been on the cards, but I stuck with the Norwegian. Now, not the best game from Erling Haaland, but I still think that Man City played pretty well, and they have some lovely fixtures coming up. Then the final forward to go over, I already kind of mentioned him, but it was Ollie Watkins. He only got an assist, it was actually a penalty win, which shows that he isn't on penalties anymore. So was that a good thing, was that a bad thing? Kind of a debate over on FPL Twitter this week, because imagine if Ollie Watkins won the penalty, but then ended up missing. So I'll take those 3 points, and that was going to take him to 5 points, so 2 consecutive game weeks with the 5-point appearances. But I was a little bit disappointed with only getting kind of 5 points when Aston Villa scored 4 goals, and the irony of it was his replacement scored after a minute being on the pitch. At least the popular option of João Pedro from Brighton was benched in that fixture, and he only got 0 points. So as you guys can see, the starting 11 accounting for that 42 points. Hopefully Saliba, Saka and Martinelli have a madness tonight, as I really need them to save my game week. Let me know in the comments down below, how was game week 2 for you guys, or how's it currently going? How many points are you on? Is it a red arrow, a green arrow? And what are your initial transfer thoughts? Now before we get into the actual transfer plan, I don't usually do this, but I think I have to for this game week. With 2 free transfers, context is massively important, so I'm going to show you guys the current team selection. Now don't worry, this is going to be a very initial kind of team selection. I won't go over player by player, but I'll be going over position by position to give you guys the context of my current starting 11. So let's start off on the bench, and this week we're going to resort to the normal bench. We've got Turner, Baldock, Bayer, and then finally Archer. I don't really expect any of them to get me points. So the points will come from our starting 11. Going to start off with our goalkeeper Johnston. Now unfortunately this week is the one that Crystal Palace don't have a great fixture compared to other goalkeepers, as they have Brentford away. Now you guys know I own an Mbeumo, Avisa's on top form as well. Brentford look great. I'm not too confident of an actual clean sheet here. But I guess I did choose Johnston. I have to hold him for now, but it is a little bit annoying that Pickford has a better game. Then our back line, I've got Chilwell against Luton, Saliba against Fulham at home, and finally Estupiñán against West Ham. Now Ben Chilwell and Estupiñán I'm perfectly fine with playing. They're quite attacking, they got some defensive threat, and I could actually see clean sheets for both of them. The one option though, Saliba against Fulham at home. I know Fulham haven't been playing the best football, but I could almost see them scoring, and unfortunately Saliba doesn't have that same attacking threat. But still, not the worst fixture in the world. Saliba could be a hold, as Fulham at home is not the worst fixture in the world. Then our midfield department looks pretty Gucci. We've got Rashford and Bruno on the edges against Nottingham Forest at home. This is what I was kind of talking about, giving those United assets one more game week, as this fixture looks pretty decent. Then the 2 Arsenal assets have Fulham at home, great fixture on paper. Fulham currently the worst defense in the Prem at the moment. I think they're considered a ridiculous kind of XG in the first 2. So as long as these 2 options do start, if they do, there's going to be points. Both of them could actually haul. Then finally Mbeumo against my goalkeeper, Crystal Palace at home. Not the best fixture in the world, not the worst fixture in the world. Just depends on kind of what team pitches up. But still, after 16 points in game week 2, he's going nowhere, as the fixtures only improve after this. Then our front line of Erling Haaland against Sheffield United away. Simple no-brainer, put the Campsey armband on him. If he starts, there's going to be points here, and I can see quite a few. Then Ollie Watkins against Burnley away, not the worst fixture in the world. We have seen Burnley kind of concede quite a few, and Aston Villa have a pretty decent attack. So with 2 free transfers, here's where the kind of predicaments lie. I don't really know what to do with this current starting 11. I mentioned over on Twitter on the weekend, the players in my team are pretty bad. The players I want to bring in are also pretty bad. So what should we actually do? Now what I want to do at the current moment is to make things a little bit easier. I want to take out the players that are nailed in my team, the players that I won't be transferring out. So let's do that. I think in the back line, Chilwell and Estupiñán are going to be mainstays. You can see them playing over tougher fixtures as they are so attacking. Then the Arsenal mids and also Mbeumo won't be going anywhere. Lovely fixture in game week 3, and they're on decent form. Then finally Erling Haaland, our mainstay captain, won't be going anywhere. He's the perma captain for a reason, and game week 2 hasn't affected that. So the final players we left with are going to be Johnson between the sticks. Not only is his game week 3 fixture not too great, but if you guys have been keeping up with rumours, apparently Dean Henderson is being targeted. So that'll be quite a bad situation if Dean Henderson is signed for Crystal Palace. It means there's a reason they want to sign him, and I guess it could be to be backup. But still, that's going to be massive competition between the sticks for Johnston. So if we are left with kind of one transfer, instead of burning it, we might make a goalkeeper one. Options currently, probably the main one is going to be Sanchez from Chelsea, although I might not want to triple up with him. In terms of the defensive department, Saliba at 5.0 million is quite expensive. If I'm not too confident on his kind of high ceiling, I could always take him out for an alternative. But Fulham at home isn't the worst fixture in the world, but the fixtures do get slightly tougher from game week 4 onwards. Then we obviously have the two United assets, Bruno and Rashford. The form isn't there, but I guess giving them one more game week might not be the worst in the world, as they have Nottingham Forest at home. But if I am forced to make a transfer, there are other options that I'm more confident in that could get me hopefully more FPL points. Then the final option for a transfer in the forward department is going to be Ollie Watkins. Seems like the popular option this week is to take out João Pedro or Ollie Watkins for another alternative. Now the only thing about Ollie Watkins is unfortunately in game week 3, Burnley away is not the worst fixture in the world, and Aston Villa are attacking pretty well. So could this come back to bite us? 100% if we do take him out, and that's why I'm a little bit cautious. Then the final transfer I could potentially make, if I don't even want to take Johnston out, I could always go for a bench upgrade. So probably Turner's pretty safe in terms of our second rotation goalkeeper, but in terms of my 4.0 defenders, Baldock and Bayer could be upgraded. 1.0 in the bank could even upgrade them to a 5.0 if I want to. So I do think out of these options on the screen right now, I could be using one free transfer or both free transfers to upgrade my team. So let's go over some options. So now going on to the actual transfer plan, and I do think I'll probably be making one of these transfers that are quite attacking, quite forward thinking, and therefore hopefully should result in some FPL points. Now the first transfer I want to mention is potentially taking out one of those United attackers. The only reason for this is that I do think there are better options in that midfield department than the two I have. Now between Rashford and Bruno, I don't really think there's too much between them, but I probably would take out Bruno because he's less attacking, even though his stats might have been looking better. So that will be kind of a debate I got over throughout the week is do I trust the kind of set piece threat, the penalties of Bruno, or the more attacking threat of Rashford, but he hasn't been playing well out of position. So for the time being, I'm just going to put Bruno as my transfer out potentially, and now let's look at some other alternatives. Now the one alternative I want to talk about, and I know that he might not actually be fit for game week 3, is James Maddison from Spurs. Now he was seen leaving the Spurs stadium in an ankle boot, but it seems like that might be precautionary, but he was going for tests today. So just see what those tests say. If he's back for game week 3, I think he's a great option, especially because of those lovely fixtures. Just look at those, Bournemouth away, Burnley away, and Sheffield United at home. It doesn't get better than that. But big kind of caveat unfortunately on James Maddison because of that injury, so what I might do is hold off on this transfer for game week 3, just see if he's going to be fit for game week 3, if he plays the entire fixture, and then bring him in for game week 4 when United have Arsenal away. And that's kind of the thing about these United assets is yes, in game week 3 they have a lowly fixture, but game week 4 and 5 look slightly tough, but it might be worth kind of being patient and giving them one more game week. Another alternative to Maddison, if he's not going to be fit, will be Phil Foden from Man City, as Man City also have great fixtures. Now Phil Foden looked great in that game against Newcastle, and as I always say, if Phil Foden plays minutes, he gets you FPL points. So as with any Man City attacker, that's kind of the big thing, is are they actually going to play minutes? But with the current injury situation with Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden might be the man to go for. Now as mentioned, lovely fixtures on the cards, Sheffield United away, Fulham at home, and then West Ham away, and then in game week 6 they have Nottingham Forest. Now the one thing I do like about this Phil Foden move is all of us are kind of perma-capsing Erling Haaland. The gains aren't there for that Haaland captaincy, so why not double up on that Man City attack and get you some differential points? Well, that's exactly what Phil Foden can potentially do for your FPL team, and that's why he's currently on my radar. But is it worth taking out Bruno before Nottingham Forest at home is guaranteed to play versus Phil Foden that might not even start? I don't exactly know. So now let's go for some more kind of predictable transfers. Definitely the most popular option this week is going to be Ollie Watkins out or João Pedro out, and the number one replacement at the moment for me is Nicholas Jackson. Now the only reason for this is those lovely Chelsea fixtures. You guys know me, I'm a fixture FPL manager, and Luton at home, Nottingham Forest at home, and Bournemouth away, those look simply outstanding. So we spoke about Maddison, it doesn't get better than those 3 fixtures. Well, it might have, because these fixtures on paper look simply outstanding. And it's not even only the next 3 though, the next 4, the next 5, the next 6, the Chelsea fixtures just get better and better. Now the only thing about Jackson is unfortunately like United, Chelsea don't look that great at the current moment, and Jackson seems to be missing some confidence. But we could kind of jump ahead of the bandwagon, get on him in game week 3, and then if he scores against Luton, the ownership is only going to skyrocket. So we've spoken about kind of the transfer in not being kind of the best situation, but Ollie Watkins at the current moment might not be either. He just lost penalties, he came off on the 75th minute, so might he actually be a liability? I don't exactly think so. I think that he'll probably start the game playing the majority of minutes in the next one and the next one, but I guess the fixtures will get slightly tougher. I'm not talking about game week 4 though. Liverpool away might even be a good fixture to go for, but then after that the fixtures get a little bit tougher. So at the current moment, Dayvy looks like a transfer I could potentially make, and this will give me some more value in the bank as well. Now if I don't want to go for Nicholas Jackson, I want to go for kind of a more kind of cemented option, not cemented in terms of minutes, but cemented in terms of points potential, it's going to be Julian Alvarez from Man City. So like Phil Foden, another popular kind of differential pick, can accompany earning Haaland super well with lovely fixtures coming up. Now personally I do prefer kind of going for Nicholas Jackson, he's more nailed than Julian Alvarez is at the current moment, unless Chelsea sign a new striker in this week. So that's why I'll probably hold off until the deadline to make this transfer to get as much information as possible. I guess the other thing with those Man City assets is the Champions League is shortly approaching, and then we might even see some more severe rotation. But one option, kind of a youngster should play the majority of minutes like Phil Foden, is definitely Alvarez in that forward slot. Now the last option I want to go over is if I want to make a bench upgrade as mentioned, even if I don't want to take Johnston out to someone like a Sanchez, if I'm fine with my starting 11, I could upgrade my bench. Now I might not stretch to kind of go for a 5.0, I might go for a 4.5, and that's going to be a Doggy or a Dogie from Spurs. Now, I've already spoken about those Madison fixtures, those Spurs fixtures look simply outstanding. Bournemouth and Burnley away, then Sheffield United at home. I can almost see 3 clean sheets for Spurs. Now, I know they might not be the most defensive oriented side at the current moment, but I still think there might be some clean sheets in there. Now, he also offers some massive attacking threat though, and that's what I'm really kind of looking at. And I only have some slight concerns about some potential rotation in that Spurs lineup. We saw it on the weekend that even though they played well in Game Week 1, Game Week 2 there was some rotation pairs, which was quite surprising. So yes, if I do want to make an upgrade, this will obviously be a nice little 4.5 that I can bring off the bench for some lovely fixtures for Spurs coming up. Now in terms of his replacement, it's either Bayer or Baldock, just depends on who I kind of go for. Not too much in it in the comparison between them, they're simple 4.0s that can be upgraded. So definitely a move that I am looking at, but might not be this week, as I can simply just play Saliba against Fulham at home, as I still think he has a chance of a clean sheet there. But then after that, Game Week 4 and Game Week 5, the Arsenal fixtures get slightly tougher, so Doggy's definitely on my watch list. So I've given you guys a few options here, but what I would kind of nail down is I think that Ollie Watkins will probably be departing for Nicholas Jackson this week. As long as Chelsea don't sign a striker in the next few days, I feel like he's the best option, nailed for minutes, and those fixtures are simply too hard to ignore. We'll probably give Bruno and Rashford one more game week against Nottingham Forest at home, so I could always save the transfer after only making one. But in the comments down below, voice your opinion. What transfer do you guys think is the best for my team? If there was a transfer I haven't even thought about, you can drop it in the comments down below, and I could actually give you credit for that move. Also comment your kind of transfer plans for the upcoming game week, and comment if you guys need any help with anything. But this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Hopefully our 3 Arsenal assets absolutely perform for us tonight, as I do really need the points. But I'm going to sign off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers, bye.